We actually gonna get Conor McGregor versus arguably the pound for pound number one boxer in Terence Crawford, because that seems to be the news that's going around now in the world of combat sports. Terence Crawford did reveal this in an interview that apparently both him and Conor McGregor were offered a two-fight deal against each other for one fight in MMA, one fight in boxing. Now, I don't see how this is going to happen. I don't see how this would work. McGregor still has two fights left on his UFC deal. I could see the UFC maybe allowing Terence Crawford to come over and have a fight with McGregor, because that would be big for the UFC. But I don't see the UFC allowing McGregor to then go over and box Terence Crawford. I just don't see it happening. Obviously, they have done that before with McGregor Mayweather, but this isn't the same scale of McGregor Mayweather, let's be honest. I just don't see this happening. Like I said, McGregor has two fights left on his deal with the UFC. The guy's literally begging the UFC to give him a fight, and they won't. But we know why the UFC's doing this. The UFC's doing this to McGregor because their broadcasting deal is coming up. McGregor's the biggest name in combat sports. I don't care what anybody says. He is still the biggest, and the UFC are going to use his name as leverage to get a better broadcasting deal. That's what's happening. Now, Terence Crawford did speak out about this, about the fight offer that was given to him and Conor McGregor. He says they offered me the fight. Me and McGregor got on the phone. I just told him I'm not getting in no octagon with you so you can kick me and elbow me. He was laughing and was like, man, I respect it, but we'd make a shit ton of money. Now, McGregor has also spoke on this situation, and he actually goes in detail as to apparently how much he was offered to fight Terence Crawford for this two-fight deal. McGregor says, big respect to Bud Crawford, $100 million a fight, one MMA, one boxing, $200 million. This has to be a Saudi Arabia show. This has to be a Riyadh season event, because who else would put this on? Like, does anyone even have any interest in McGregor versus Terence Crawford? Because I could not care less. I don't care to see Terence Crawford over in MMA, and I don't care to see McGregor box Terence Crawford, because one, in MMA, McGregor smokes him. Then number two, in boxing, Terence Crawford smokes Conor McGregor. So everybody knows how this is going to play out. It's not going to be competitive in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion. I have no interest in this. I don't see how anybody can have an interest in this. Now, if this was made, of course I'd watch it, because I'm a fan of combat sports. I like Terence Crawford. I like Conor McGregor. But right now, the fight hasn't been announced. I do not care. I do not want to see it. Now, I could see a world where maybe this would happen. Terence Crawford, obviously, in his response, it seems like the guy isn't interested in this, which, fair enough. I mean, why would he go over and fight McGregor in MMA? I don't really get what Terence Crawford would get out of that, bar from a fucking shin bone to the face. I don't really get what he would get out of that, but there is a possibility this could happen, thinking of it, because all parties involved have a good relationship with Riyadh Season, who I am just guessing would be the guys to put this fight on. Turki Al Sheikh has obviously taken a big liking to Conor McGregor, as he brings the guy out to every single big fight and has McGregor talk his ear off in the front row. Obviously the UFC just had their first card out in Saudi Arabia, and then Riyadh Season were the sponsor, or whatever they were, the UFC 306, so they have a good working relationship. And obviously Terence Crawford has just recently started to work with Riyadh Season. He headlined their LA card, which in my opinion is without a doubt their best card to date. So money talks, it could happen. I personally don't want to see it happen, but I do know who McGregor's going to be fighting next, and that's Dan Hooker. Now, Dan Hooker says he will be in attendance of the Bare Knuckle FC event in Marbella, Spain next week to chat with Conor McGregor about potentially being McGregor's return opponent. Perfect matchup for McGregor. I know he said about maybe fighting Michael Chandler after he fights Oliveira. Fuck Michael Chandler. He's completely missed the boat on this opportunity. The guy waited 2 years, done the Ultimate Fighter with McGregor, got the fight booked with McGregor. McGregor pulled out due to an injury, decided to wait a couple months longer, and then went, nah, I'm actually going to fight Oliveira. Stupid. He's going to get in there with Oliveira at UFC 309, get beat by Oliveira, and once he gets beat by Oliveira, he's never getting this Conor McGregor fight. Whoever advises Michael Chandler is a fucking idiot. Dan Hooker, though, on the other side for McGregor is a very interesting matchup, because Dan Hooker is a striker. Stylistically, it's a very favourable fight for McGregor. Dan Hooker isn't going to look to grapple with him. Dan Hooker, yes, is a good grappler, a good striker, but I don't think his striking is on the level of Conor McGregor's, in my opinion. He is very tough though, Dan Hooker, and he does have an engine. And this would be a 5-round fight. Obviously, McGregor would be main eventing, so that could be a concern. However, Dan Hooker is easily hit. He's not chinny though, but he can be hurt. And McGregor carries power, let's be honest. I would favour McGregor in this matchup, but maybe I'm just stuck in the past reminiscing on what McGregor was. Because Dan Hooker could very easily win this. If McGregor shows up and he isn't 100% on his A game, Dan Hooker could put a beating on McGregor. Which is crazy to think that in 2024, after seeing how both guys' careers have played out, we're going to be saying Dan Hooker could beat McGregor. What a fall off McGregor's had, I can't lie. Or what a come up Dan Hooker's had, really, to be honest. But yeah, I think this will be the next fight for McGregor. Dan Hooker's currently ranked number 5. The UFC will be looking to get McGregor against someone who is as high ranked as possible so they can get him closer to fighting for the belt. Dan Hooker is that opponent. I don't know if it would be at lightweight. That's the only thing. I don't know if we see McGregor fight at lightweight. That's the problem. I feel like he will fight at lightweight, but whether he fights in the lightweight division is another thing. But nonetheless, this would be a perfect return fight for Conor McGregor. Why not just have this? I'm pretty sure they're going to Australia in February. Have this as the main event there. Mix it up. Do something different. I know they won't, and they'll have McGregor out in Vegas. But this is the fight that I want to see next for Conor McGregor. Let me know your opinions on this whole situation in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.